A retired couple I know converted $200,000 to a Roth IRA in 2019. Best financial decision they ever made. Another couple did the exact same thing in 2022, and it may have cost them over $60,000. Same strategy, wildly different outcomes. So, what's the difference? That's what we're covering today, because a Roth conversion can either be a brilliant tax move or an expensive mistake, and the difference comes down to 7 critical questions most people never think to ask. Stick around to question number 5, because that's the one that catches almost everyone off guard. Let's jump in. First, quick level set. A Roth conversion is when you move money from a traditional IRA or 401k into a Roth IRA. You pay taxes now on that money, but then it grows tax-free forever, and you never pay taxes on it again when you withdraw it in retirement. Sounds amazing, right? And it can be. But here's what most YouTube videos won't tell you. Timing is everything, and what works for your neighbor or your brother-in-law might be completely wrong for you. So let's run through the 7 questions that'll tell you whether a Roth conversion makes sense for your situation. And real quick, if you find this helpful, tap that like button. It really helps the channel reach more people who need this information. Question number 1. What tax bracket are you in right now versus retirement? This is the foundational question, because remember, you're paying taxes now to avoid taxes later, so this only makes sense if you're in a lower tax bracket today than you expect to be in retirement. Here's where most people get this wrong. They assume you'll be in a lower bracket when you retire, but if you've got a big 401k, required minimum distributions at age 73 could push you into a higher bracket than you're in during your working years, especially if you're in a lower earning year right now. The sweet spot is converting when you're in the 12 or 22% federal bracket, and you expect to be in the 24% bracket or higher in retirement. That's where the math really starts working in your favor. But here's the thing, you can't just look at your bracket. You need to think about question number 2. Can you pay the tax bill without using the converted funds? This is huge. Let's say you convert $50,000 and you're in the 22% tax bracket. That's an $11,000 tax bill. If you take that $11,000 out of the IRA to pay the taxes, you just shot yourself in the foot. Why? Because that $11,000 could have compounded tax-free for decades. Plus, if you're under 59.5, you'll pay a 10% penalty on top of the taxes for that withdrawal. The real power of a Roth conversion happens when you pay the taxes from a separate savings or checking account. That way, the full amount goes into the Roth and starts growing tax-free. So if you don't have cash sitting around to cover the tax bill, a Roth conversion might not be your move right now. Build up that cash reserve first, then consider converting. Question number 3. How long until you need this money? Here's a rule that trips people up. When you convert to a Roth, there's a 5-year waiting period before you can withdraw the converted amount penalty-free, even if you're over 59.5. Now, you can always withdraw your contributions from a Roth anytime without penalty, but converted amounts 5 years. So if you're 62 and you convert today, you can't touch that converted money until you're 67 without facing a 10% penalty. If you think you might need this money before then, a Roth conversion could lock you out of your own funds when you need them most. The ideal scenario, you're at least 5 to 10 years away from needing this money, giving it time to grow and clearing that 5-year clock. Question number 4. What does your income look like over the next few years? Here's a strategy most people miss. You don't have to convert everything at once. In fact, you probably shouldn't. Let's say you're between jobs, or you retire early at 60 but don't start Social Security until 67. Those years when your income is low, that's prime conversion territory. You can convert just enough to stay in a lower tax bracket, then do another conversion next year. Or maybe you're a business owner and you had a down year. That's actually the perfect time to convert because your taxable income is lower than usual. The couples who get Roth conversions right, they're strategic. They convert in chunks over several years, always staying mindful of bracket thresholds. It's not sexy, but it saves tens of thousands in taxes. All right, question number 5, and this is the one that blindsides people. Will this conversion affect your Medicare premiums? Here it is. Medicare premiums are based on something called IRMA, Income-Related Monthly Adjustment Amount. And guess what counts as income? Roth conversions. So let's say you're 65 on Medicare and you convert $75,000. That could bump you into a higher IRMA bracket, and suddenly you're paying an extra $2,000 to $4,000 per year in Medicare premiums for the next 2 years. Those IRMA brackets are based on your income from 2 years prior, so a conversion you do today affects your Medicare costs 2 years from now. Not a lot of people see this coming. The workaround: if you're close to Medicare age, you might want to convert before you turn 63, giving those conversions time to clear before IRMA calculations kick in. Or do smaller conversions that keep you under the IRMA thresholds. Question number 6. Do you expect tax rates to go up in the future? Look, none of us have a crystal ball, but we can look at some facts. We've got massive federal debt, Social Security trust funds running low, and historically, today's tax rates are pretty low compared to where they've been. The current tax cuts from 2017 are set to sunset in 2025, which means tax rates are scheduled to go up unless Congress extends them. If you believe taxes are going higher in the long run, and most economists and financial planners do, then paying taxes now at today's rates instead of later at potentially higher rates is a smart hedge. But here's the thing: you have to balance this against everything else we've talked about. Higher future tax rates don't matter if you're paying 32% now to avoid 24% later. You still have to run the numbers. Question number 7. What's your estate planning situation? Here's one for those of you thinking about what you'll leave behind. Here's the advantage: Roth IRAs don't have required minimum distributions during your lifetime. Traditional IRAs force you to start taking withdrawals at 73 whether you need the money or not. So if you don't need your IRA money to live on, a Roth conversion lets you pass on a tax-free inheritance to your kids or grandkids. They'll still have to withdraw it within 10 years under current rules, but they won't pay income tax on those withdrawals. Compare that to a traditional IRA where your heirs get hit with income taxes on every dollar they withdraw, potentially at their highest earning years when they're in their peak tax bracket. For wealthy families leaving behind large IRAs, converting to Roth can be one of the most valuable gifts you give your heirs. You pay the tax at your rate now, they inherit it tax-free. So let's bring this home. A Roth conversion can be an incredibly powerful tool, but it's not one size fits all. You need to be in the right tax situation now, have the cash to pay the taxes, enough time horizon for it to make sense, and you need to watch out for those Medicare premium traps. The best candidates for Roth conversions are people in their low income years, early retirees before Social Security kicks in, anyone who expects higher tax brackets in the future, and people who want to leave tax-free money to their heirs. Now, here's what I want you to do. Before you convert anything, talk to a CPA or financial advisor who can run the actual numbers for your situation. Roth conversions are technically irreversible as of 2018, so you want to get this right the first time. If you found this helpful, make sure you're subscribed because we break down complex financial strategies like this every week. Drop a comment below. Are you considering a Roth conversion, or have you already done one? I'd love to hear your experience.